Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 7th of November. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview of what we can all expect collectively, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the signs from Aries through to Pisces and the key influences for each of those. Now, this week sees on Tuesday a total lunar eclipse, an event which is going to provide an influence for the next 6 months. Now, the sign of Taurus where this occurs is actually where the moon is rather happy. It's exalted in the sign of Taurus, so it's its second favourite location after being domiciled in the sign of Cancer, but it's very close to the planet of disruption, Uranus. And if you recall, over the last couple of years, Uranus and the planet of restriction, Saturn, in the sign of the collective, Aquarius, have off and on been grating in an attritional and stressful right angle called a square. Now that threads its way through this event. Now, we also have close to the Moon and Uranus the North Node, a very significant point in terms of our collective destiny, but on the other side of the heavens, we have the Sun, Mercury and Venus all in Scorpio. The significance of the cluster in Taurus, the cluster in Scorpio, and the position of Saturn is they're all in fixed signs. Fixed signs prefer continuity. They're happier with knowing how things are, maintaining a degree of stability. So Uranus is pushing us to be more outspoken about our rights in terms of our self-worth. So we're seeing a lot of protest and dissent, but also we're seeing the cost of living crisis, and a lot of that is because the second house of Taurus governs food and food distribution. Now obviously we also have the sign of Taurus being an earth sign, very much about the environment and the cost of utilities to heat our homes, to cook with, to light our homes as well. All these are hot topics. So the way people are relating to the right angle between Uranus and Saturn, and have been over the last couple of years, whether it's big government, big business, individuals, collective associations, such as citizens, finding an outlet through social media, or perhaps union output, is that everybody has a different take on how they want changes to occur. And it's obvious that some kind of reset is occurring, and we need to try to adapt to deal with this, and it's really not easy. Now, concurrent to this, the two rulers of the sign of Scorpio are in conflict, Mars and Pluto. So Pluto's in the part of the horoscope that's to do with wanting to maintain the old world order, so big government, big business. But Mars is in the part of the zodiac which is to do with how we think and articulate our ideas, but it's now in retrograde. But they're not on good terms. So this adds to the strident mix that's bubbling up. Also, Mars is in a right angle to Neptune, the planet of dreams and the ephemeral world. And this is creating a lot of illusions, a lot of dishonesty, quite honestly. And we're finding that more and more stories about corruption and dishonesty, particularly around money and people looking out for their friends when they have influence, or we're also seeing sexual impropriety. A lot of stories are coming to the open. So all of this is going to be quite a feature over the next 6 months. But please stay with me as I decipher all of this for each of your 12 zodiac signs. But if you would like to understand what year 2023 will hold for you as an individual based on Sirius astrology, and rise above your zodiac forecast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can produce your forecast for next year. And in my special package, you get the rest of this year free, and also your life roadmap, your character analysis, which helps you to understand some of the patterns that have repeated themselves, perhaps more difficult energies, but also help you to have greater understanding of your opportunities. And there's 30% off. Please see the link below. Finally, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love it if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're an ongoing viewer, thank you so much for all your support. So Taurus, your week commencing the 7th of November forecast sees that total lunar eclipse in your sign. Now that's going to make you fiercely aware of what you need as an individual, just at a time when the cluster of the Sun, Mercury and your ruler Venus are also giving you opportunities to relate to others. What to do? Well, it could be that just a very restless vibe works its way into your relationship situation, particularly over the next half year. But it may be as much around your business associations or what you do for a living, those kind of ties that you have, as much as more personal ones. Now, your appreciation of continuity, because of you being a fixed sign, is very well known. And of course, Uranus has been challenging that full time since March 2019. It depends exactly where your Sun is. If Uranus and the Moon are very close to your Sun or some other personal planets, the impact of this eclipse is going to be felt that much more keenly. But I think restlessness around relationships, or if you're not in one, perhaps a restless desire to have one, or to understand the truth of all sorts of alliances with others, that really, I think, is the central theme. But because we at some level in life can go for what we want, but we don't necessarily get all of our needs met, there has to be some compromises. And perhaps Saturn being in your sector of the 10th house may see someone involved in your situation who's proven to be a bit of a tough nut. This may be a stern line manager, it may be a parent, it could be someone who's pushing back against your need to be a bit more flexed and a bit freer around some of your closest ties. And if things are too rigid, that can create a sense of frustration. So Uranus can be about home truths being expressed. So next to the Moon, it will be much more likely that you're going to need to say how you feel, even if your courtesy and diplomacy has been not quite saying it outright for some while. But the great news is that with Mercury, the Sun and Venus clustered together, if you can just pause and choose your words carefully, something could be discussed. The air can be cleared in a very beneficial way. But anything about who dominates a relationship or you feel has power or control, that is the thing that I think you're going to be particularly wanting to push back against.